What? This is making the rounds. Tory Lanez DNA was reportedly not found on the gun used to shoot Megan Thee Stallion. Yeah, but he fucking failed. Wait, what do you mean? He failed the GSR test. So did the other lady that was there. I've been keeping a close watch on this fucking case, okay? This is the Amber Heard trial for Black Twitter and also like the Shade Room. You know what I mean? There's a lot of weird Tory Lanez apologia happening all over the fucking place. And I find it very strange. Whoa, don't come in here and all hot and heavy shit, man. This is Friday. The fuck? I already got an orange slice down the throat of this bottle of Blue Moon. And you come in here all padaki? Take a week off, partner, or pull up a beanbag and shut it. All I'm going to say is I am a hot girl, okay? I'm a hot girl. Through and through. Wait, this... Wait, does this have the fucking username? Wait, hold up. It says Diego Parad and Pixabay, but I don't know what that is. Anyway. We're called hotties, not hot girls. I'm a hottie. Okay. A boomer threatened to call NATO on me today. It's wild because it's not even Meg versus Tory. It's the state of California versus Tory. Yeah, this is a very interesting. This is a very interesting story. Joby180, thank you for the 10 of the subs. It's a very interesting story because, like, I personally think that people are being ruthless towards Megan Thee Stallion, and they're like looking for a lot of weird outs in this regard, where they're like shitting on her. Like the defense has brought up who Megan Thee Stallion may or may not have fucked. You know what I mean? It's very weird. It's like, why the fuck? Why the fuck? What does that have to do with anything? Like, what do you mean? Like, it's very weird. It is very weird. Like, a lot of people like Tory Lanez. I don't know why. But they really, really like Tory Lanez, and they just think like Megan Thee Stallion's like lying or some shit. But she was shot at. We could like, I guess we could dip our toes into this a little bit, but dudes are whack as fuck. They don't like Tory. They just hate women. Yeah, I think so. I don't know where I would get like dabbing into black people's business again. I mean, this isn't just like black people's business. This is pretty universal concept that we're talking about here. Misogyny. I mean, it's misogynoir certainly, but like it's still misogyny, I think. Yeah, it's more like men v women business. That account literally paid for Twitter Blue. Yeah, it's fucking Daily Loud, bro. Yeah. But I don't really know where to go with this kind of shit, like with this kind of case. K-Ray 86, because like all the coverage I've seen so far on the issue itself come from like No Jumper, you know what I mean? So it's like that's not necessarily going to be great. Megan Cuniff has been covering it. Good morning from Los Angeles, where I'm here for the 6th day of the testimony in rapper Tory Lanez criminal assault trial for the 2020 shooting of Megan Thee Stallion in Hollywood Hills. Follow this thread for updates from the courthouse. She's been doing law crime news trial coverage. One big issue I'm hoping to learn more about the article is from Justin Edison. Meg's lawyer said he didn't show up for his scheduled testimony on Friday. Will he be there today? Will we hear anything about it? Here's Friday's thread all in one place. It's a really common thing about black men. Whenever a man is known for abusing women and gains a cult-like fandom, no one can name a Chris Brown song or Tory Lanez, but everyone wants Megan to lose this case. Emotional testimony recanting witnesses. Week 1 of Tory Lanez assault trial. Damn, NPR did a fucking coverage on it. That's crazy. Does anyone have a... What is this? Does anyone have a pool in Los Angeles I can film porn in? Why did you send this to me? You fucking freak. And then you fucking hit a Haas mods. I'm giving you a day off, dude. I clicked on a fucking account thinking that... Oh my God. That's insane, bro. Let them film in your pool? Yeah, no, we're not doing that. Chatters are just like straight up linking porn, dude, and porn stars. Don't do that. His username is Pixabay Diego Parad. No, I don't think that is his username. Anyway, we're done. I'm not touching this. What about DJ Ox coverage of the trial? What? No, I don't want to fucking listen to DJ Academics and fucking the worst possible person to speak on any issue whatsoever. This is consistent with what I've seen thus far. I didn't want to comment on the trial against Tory Lanez because it's sad to see so many people vilify a black woman when she's been wrong. Tory Lanez's defense and strategy has been to play on hypersexualizing and slut shaming, and it has nothing to do with him shooting Megan Thee Stallion.
See, like,
yeah, his defense has straight up brought up like who Megan Thee Stallion is like fucked and all this other shit. It is very weird. It is very fucking weird, dude.
Honestly, didn't even want to say nothing about the trial of Tory Lanez and everything because it is so disheartening seeing the treatment of Meg Thee Stallion. Like it honestly is disheartening to see like so many.
If you do this one more time, I'm going to fucking clap you in the smithereens. I got it. Tory Lanez. You mean the Brexit bowling alley? Like, got it, dude. It's funny. It's a funny pun. Please
Not
stop.
just black men, but black women too. Be itching, just itching. Like the inherent desire is to vilify this black woman because it's not like Tory Lanez is some beloved figure. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not. He was not. Y'all only chose to uplift and propel this little leprechaun to this kind of fake iconic stuff.
That's the wildest part about this. Like he might be like a decent dude or something to others behind the scenes or whatever, but like ultimately they literally are just like, oh man, it was so sick when you like may or may not have shot Megan Thee Stallion. Like that to me is fucking insane. Okay? That is insane, dude. That's insane. That is a wild that's a wild situation to be in. It's like the dudes that come in here when like someone admits wrongdoing in like a twitlonger. Like a victim comes out with a twitlonger and then the possible alleged perpetrator also admits and apologizes for the actions mentioned in the fucking twitlonger. But then you still have motherfuckers coming in here being like, nah, I don't give a fuck that the guy admitted it. He's actually innocent. Fuck you. It's like at that point, you're not even a stand for the other person. You're just a stand for misogyny. And I find that very weird.
Status y'all pretend he has.
He's like, nah, you don't get it. Like, I'm actually here defending violence against women. That's my point here.
Now, just to vilify this woman.
And yes, let's not bring up LeBron. It hurts my feelings. But yes, he is like low-key one of those people that has been like, oh yeah, you know, Tory's the man. He's on the Tory's the man train, which is very sad, okay? As much as I love LeBron James, it does hurt my fucking feelings to see him do that.
Because he fucking shot her. And y'all know he shot her. That's the crazy thing. Like, nothing else fucking makes sense. And it's so wild to see y'all pretend like this is some big, like, hard to understand, complicated story just because you want it to be. You just want to believe. Like, obviously he fucking shot her. Like, what are we confused about? The woman done told you the fucking man shot her. You suck it. The bullet fragments done come out of her fucking foot. The thing was found with the fucking warm gun. He fucking
and he had GSR, like he failed the GSR test, but both him and the other girl that was there, I believe, failed that test as well. Like they had gunpowder residue. So what the fuck?
Shot her. What is all this circumstantial shit y'all are talking about and pretending about? Fucking shot her. Who do y'all think shot her? A fucking leprechaun in the sky? Or the one that was on the ground? It doesn't matter if Meg Thee Stallion had 662 rappers called Tory Lanez a pussy and told him Vanilla Ice make better music than him. It wouldn't fucking justify him shooting her. It wouldn't change the fact that he fucking shot her. It's not a thing worth discussing, but y'all will take any opportunity to vilify a black woman, to distract from the issues, and to absolve and justify what the mistreatment she experiences. And here's the crazy part. I'm an abolitionist and I'm a defense attorney, so it's not like I have an inherent desire to see.
By the way, do the people saying like, oh, it might have been her friend who shot her actually, even that testimony is conflicting, but also even in that regard, then it's like they were wrestling for the control of the gun, so that still corresponds to what Megan Thee Stallion was saying, which is that like Tory Lanez had the intention of like shooting around or in the direction of Megan Thee Stallion. Here's the prosecutor's explanation for why gun residue was both on Tory Lanez and Kelsey. They allege that Tory Lanez shot the firearm, but Kelsey tested for GSR because she was next to Tory when he shot the firearm and he got some on her when he assaulted her. That's another thing that could have. That's another reasoning for why they both might have failed the gunpowder residue test. Here, Tory Lanez trial day one. Prosecutors opened by saying. With dance bitch, that's what the defendant said before firing 5 shots at Megan Pete. Tory and Megan argument escalated after Megan called Tory's music trash. Prosecutors refute the love triangle story. Prosecutors allege that Megan called Tory's music trash. She exited out of the vehicle and Tory exited too. Tory then shouted dance bitch and fired 5 shots, emptying the clip. Megan was hit in both feet. While bleeding, Megan limped for cover at a resident nearby. Prosecutors say Kelsey, this is what happened, by the way. Like what happened is, ultimately, Megan Thee Stallion got shot in her feet. They took the fucking bullet fragments out. Like, it's not like it was that's not fake. You know what I mean? Like, she did get shot in the fucking foot. Okay? Which is insane. So, like, people turning around and be like, Megan Thee Stallion's a fucking liar. Like, what a piece of shit. It's like, bro, you're literally saying that the person who got shot in the foot is in the wrong for being shot in the foot. Prosecutors say Kelsey followed Megan the helper. At this time, Tory began to walk towards Megan and Kelsey. Kelsey approached Tory to stop him from approaching. When Kelsey approached him, prosecutors say that Tory punched Kelsey and pulled her to the ground by her hair. Prosecutors allege that Tory Lanez then demanded they both get back into the SUV. Megan and Kelsey complied with his wishes. When they get back in the car, Kelsey sent a text to Megan's security guard, Justin Edison, saying, help, Tory shot Meg, 911. Prosecutors introduced evidence that showed Kelsey sent a text to Megan's bodyguard alleging Tory shot Megan 5 minutes after the residents called 911 reporting they'd seen and heard shots coming from a black SUV. When the police pulled over the SUV Tory and Meg was in, they located a warm firearm in a side lock position, which indicates that every bullet in the firearm had been used. Prosecutors played an audio of Tory's call from jail to Kelsey, where he apologized profusely. Prosecutors introduced 3 pieces of evidence. Tory apologized to Kelsey from jail and blamed his actions that night on being drunk. 2, Tory sent a text apologizing to Megan Thee Stallion. 3, Tory allegedly apologized to Megan Thee Stallion's bodyguard, Justin Edison. And all of this is literally just like, all of this is out there. And yet people still are like, yeah, I don't really care. Yeah, nah. No, actually, fuck you. No, Megan Thee Stallion's lying. Prosecutors also offered an explanation for why gun residue was both on Tory Lanez and Kelsey. They alleged that Tory Lanez shot the firearm, but Kelsey tested for GSR because she was next to Tory when he shot the firearm. and he got some on her when he assaulted her. These are the accounts of the prosecutor's opening statements. Tory is still innocent until proven guilty. Okay?
Tory Lanez or anybody else go to jail, right? But it's like, or be convicted. But it's like that's what needs to happen in order for y'all to acknowledge something that we all knew was a fact. And the crazy part is, when he did it initially, when he shot her, Meg didn't initially go to police or want anyone to go that route at all. People forced her down this route in order to prove a point because somehow they made her the villain in her own story. It's really wild. And as a defense attorney, let me just say this. A defense attorney comes up with a strategy. Like it's a strategy, the story, the narrative of now trying to literally, and it's usually something people object to, like confusing the issues and shit like that. But the fact that they're trying to deflect and play into the fact that black women are hypersexualized and vilified, and y'all want to do that, and so they distracting you with all this other nonsense that don't have nothing to do with the fact that this shot her. And let me explain something to y'all. I don't know why y'all think go to law school for years and years and years and years and years and saying like why people be going through that process of law school, the bar, a constant education process, and y'all feel like DJ academics is a fucking lawyer. What the why the are y'all taking information from DJ academics and a bunch of people who are clearly just trying?
I also do think that it's kind of fucked up that like there isn't more mainstream media coverage over this trial. Like in a weird way, I don't know if it would be good if there was more mainstream media coverage of the trial. But also, like, the main avenues to follow up with the latest details on this fucking trial are, unfortunately, DJ Academics, The Shade Room, and fucking No Jumper. Like, literally. So, I mean, I'm sorry, but a lot of those outlets have a clear slant. It's just like, it's kind of weird.
Trying to drive up engagement. That's what it is. They're using their social media to drive up engagement. So they're just there taking defense theories, salacious gossip, and stuff like that and trying to make it something else. And let me tell you a little something about how the law works. A case is brought by the prosecution, by the state. It is not Megan Thee Stallion's defense team. It's not her legal team.
Yeah, that's the other
She
thing,
didn't fucking bring charges against Tory Lanez. The fucking DA's office brought charges against Tory Lanez. They are prosecuting Tory Lanez. So, okay.
And Megan Thee Stallion's bodyguard, okay, Justin Edison, who also brought forward additional testimony implicating Tory Lanez, has gone missing according to the LAPD when he was about to fucking testify today. He was scheduled to appear in court a couple days ago, and they haven't been able to find him. Update to this: Megan Thee Stallion's lawyer originally said LAPD was looking into his disappearance, but it doesn't look like it had actually gotten to that point yet. As a black woman, I'm glad people on Twitch aren't covering this heavy. You're actually the only person I can trust to cover this story. You said Tory Lanez. I think you meant to say her bodyguard's name. No, her bodyguard, Justin Edison, implicated Tory Lanez because Tory Lanez allegedly apologized to him as well. Oh, he might be in Qatar. Is that what he's? I heard he was in Qatar or some shit, but that was probably a lie. I don't know. Update: he's overseas at the World Cup working per his Instagram accounts. Oh, okay. Motherfucker was like, I have to see Mbappe and Messi. He's like, I have to. He is dripped out the wazoo. Anyway. let's finish this.
And the last thing I want to say to all the women that are using this opportunity to attack Meg and to slut shame Meg and to investigate her sexual history, let me say this.
Tory Lanez's like defense team has been fucking gross as shit throughout this entire process. Like, listen, nobody wants to see another black dude go to fucking jail, okay? Like, you know, the state is like not going to overwhelmingly be on the side of a black man in any circumstance. That's probably part of the reason why Megan Thee Stallion didn't actually file charges or do anything against Tory Lanez ultimately, because it's a more complex situation than you know what gets discussed, right? But like the moment that the state decided to follow through on a criminal suit, the defense attorney straight up fucking went and started just being like, Megan Thee Stallion fucks this person, Megan Thee Stallion fucks that person. Oh, okay. So I guess it's valid that Tory Lanez may or may not have shot him. I didn't realize like that's how things worked. You know what I mean? I didn't know that was a thing that you could do. Oh shit, dude, she fucked a bunch of people. I guess she deserves to be shot in both feet. Like what the fuck do you mean? I mean, it's insane. It is completely fucking insane, especially because they're like literally in a pretty much unwinnable case. And so they're becoming like more and more unhinged.
Y'all.
And yeah, now they're saying it's like actually the friend shooting. That's why they're saying it. They're saying that like her friend shot Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion's own friend shot Megan Thee Stallion in a lover's quarrel type situation. I wish he would have just shot me and killed me rather than have to go through with this torture, Megan told jurors, describing where her depressed thoughts sometimes wander. Dressed in a bright purple suit, the savage rapper took the witness stand around 11:15 a.m. and immediately identified Lanez in the Los Angeles courtroom. Are you nervous? Los Angeles Deputy District Attorney Kathy Ta asked the Grammy winner. I just don't feel good. I can't believe I have to come up here and do this. Over more than 3 hours of harrowing testimony, Megan described her terrified reaction to the shooting in the pre-dawn hours of July 12th, 2020, and the fear and confusion that followed. She admitted she lied to investigators and media outlets when she previously denied having been intimate with Lanez. She explained to jurors that the non-exclusive relationship left her feeling embarrassed, and ultimately she considered it irrelevant to the actual shooting that landed her in a hospital. The whole story was about who I'm having sex with, and I don't understand why that matters, she said, shutting down defense suggestions that it was her former best friend Kelsey Harris who shot her in a jealous rage. Megan was adamant that Lanez was the trigger man. Tory came out and told so many different lies about me not being shot, about him not being the shooter, making this all about a sex scandal, she testified. The ensuing ordeal led to a barrage of threats and harassment online, she said, and left her feeling like a sick bird that other members of her industry sought to avoid. Because I was shot, I've been turned into some kind of villain, and he's the victim. This has messed up my whole life, she said, adding that she often gets depressed about the way she's being shamed online. I don't know what else to say in this circumstance other than Tory Lanez apologized to Megan Thee Stallion for shooting her. Tory Lanez apologized to Kelsey for being involved in the shooting process and potentially even hurting Kelsey as well. Tory Lanez even apologized, according to the prosecutors, to her fucking bodyguard. And motherfuckers still are like, nope, doesn't matter. If you really think that, you should probably look closer at the facts of the case. No, he didn't. He didn't say that. You're saying he did not apologize to Megan Thee Stallion. And that he did not apologize to Kelsey as well. Listen. He did. He did not say for shooting her. At her lowest, she thought, I wish he would have just shot and killed me rather than go through this torture. In her sworn account of the hours leading up to the shooting, Megan claimed Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, met her at a pool party at Kylie Jenner's house. At first, refused to join her when she announced she was ready to go home. She said when he finally agreed to leave so she and Harris could hitch a ride with his driver, he had an attitude. We all finally got in the car and left, she said, naming Peterson, Peterson's driver, Jaquan Smith, and Harris as the passengers in the Cadillac Escalade. He had an attitude because he wasn't ready to leave the party, she testified, saying she was in the front seat while Harris and Peterson sat in the back. Almost immediately, Peterson tried to stir up controversy between the two women, she said. Tory says, you need to stop lying to your friend. He had an attitude, and for whatever reason, he said, you need to stop lying to your friend, Megan recalled. She said Peterson was referring to their sexual history together, which Harris didn't know about at the time. Because I knew Kelsey had a crush on Tory. I didn't want to hurt her feelings, and I didn't want her to know that I had dealt with him in any kind of way. So he knew I didn't want her to know that. I didn't want anybody to know, she testified. Now Kelsey got an attitude because he was implying we were hiding something from her. Megan, 27, said Peterson started calling both women bitches and hoes, so she asked to be let out of the car on Sunset Boulevard. I realized, oh my God, I'm literally at the peak of being so famous right now, and I'm in a thong, and I look crazy, and if anybody sees me walking down the street like this, it's going to be bad for me, she testified. Megan said she got back in the vehicle where Peterson and Harris were screaming at each other at the top of their lungs. After Smith turned down a side street and they approached Megan's house, she asked to get out of the car again. She said Peterson had disparaged her rap career, so she disparaged his in return, causing him to become even angrier. Tory was basically telling me I wasn't shit, and I said, actually, you ain't shit. This is where you at. This is where you at in your career. This is where you at with your music. And I feel like that really rubbed him the wrong way because she was right. Just saying, she was right. I started walking away from the car, and I can hear Tory say, dance, bitch. I didn't have to turn all the way around. I didn't have to use my feet to turn around, she testified, displaying for the jury how she turned her head without turning her entire body. I literally turned around like this, and I could see him with the gun. Peterson's lawyer, George McDesian, objected to this point, but the judge let the answer remain on the record. Megan's main injury was near the back of her foot, leading the defense to claim she was facing away from the shooter when the gunfire erupted and didn't have a good vantage point to identify who was holding the semi-automatic 9mm handgun. Megan repeated that she saw Tory with the gun and then froze. I'm in shock. I'm scared. I hear a gun going off. I couldn't believe he was shooting at me, she testified. He was holding the gun, pointing at me. Megan says she dropped to the ground and crawled to a nearby driveway. I looked down at my feet and I see all the blood, she said. Now everybody's screaming. He looked shocked. Kelsey looked shocked. Megan said everything started to get blurry after that, but she recalled Peterson apologizing in the car when they heard the police sirens. He's saying, please don't say anything. I'll give y'all $1 million. I can't go to jail. I already got caught with a gun before, she testified. Soon after that, Megan said she lied to the police and told them that she stepped on glass. Asked why she didn't tell the truth, Megan said her reasoning was twofold. This was at the height of the police brutality in George Floyd. And if I said this man just shot me, I didn't know if they might shoot first and ask questions later. Do you understand? As I told you, she was still in that circumstance trying to be as protective over Tory Lanez as best as she possibly could, because she is black first. She testified beyond that. In the black community, in my community, it's not really acceptable to cooperating with police officers. She also said, as a woman in the music industry, people have had a hard time believing you anyway. Well, she did prove everybody right. Peterson, 30, listened quietly throughout Megan's testimony, taking copious notes. Seated behind him in the gallery was his 6-year-old son dressed in a suit. The Love singer has pleaded not guilty to 3 felony charges in the high-profile case: assault with a firearm, causing great bodily injury, concealing a loaded unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and the recently added count of discharging a firearm with gross negligence. If convicted as charged, the Alone at Prom rapper is facing the possibility of 22 years and 8 months in prison and the subsequent deportation since he's a citizen of Canada. The biggest crime here overall is that we allowed yet another Canadian man to come over the United States borders. Okay? Anyway, Canada not sending their best sometimes. Either their best or their worst, and nothing in between. That's just the truth, okay? Sorry, you might not like it, but that's how it works. You might also not like the top of the hour ad break, but that's how it works. Because at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. Now, if you no longer want to see those ads, there are things you can do. If you're Tory Lanez, don't shoot Megan Thee Stallion, okay? If you are a non-subscribed chatter, you can subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. By connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, you get one free Prime subscription a month. Or if you're lucky, you might actually get gifted a sub. You know, if you're a good boy or good girl or good MB, you might get gifted a sub. Here's a 3-minute ad break now, though. People still don't know that Megan Thee Stallion was shot. That's like one of the funnier and weirder parts of this entire thing, is that people, whenever I cover the story or whenever I bring it up, they're like, what the fuck? Megan Thee Stallion was shot by Tory Lanez? That's crazy. Anyway, Kelsey would tell you that she just saw her close friend get shot by a defendant. Los Angeles County Deputy District Attorney Alexander Bott previously told jurors, adding that Harris rushed to Megan's side as she lay bleeding in a random driveway. Bott said Harris will testify she freaked out when Lanez approached the two women after he fired 5 shots. Sakura Gore, Gray Violet, King Ghidorah. Thank you for the 5 get the subs, allowing 15 people to no longer see the ads at the top of the fucking hour, baby. Let's go. You know that Tory was on Kai's stream a few months ago? Wait, really? Crazy. Hold on. We'll look at that in a little bit. I had no idea who this guy was before 15 minutes ago. He's not exactly an A-list celeb. Tory Lanez performed at the Playboy party I went to at the White House Correspondents' Dinner weekend that I was in D.C. He is literally 5'3". Like, I was standing. I mean, he was standing on top of a podium, and we were the same height. Anyway, that's, like, unrelated to anything, but. Derek Runs, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Big Ross the Boss, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Anyway. Kelsey, she'll tell you that she didn't know if the defendant still had his gun. She didn't know what the defendant was capable of, if he was going to continue his assault. Her defensive instincts kicked into gear and she approached the defendant. She'll tell you that the defendant physically assaulted her at that point. He pulled her by her hair and he either punched her or slapped her. According to Bott, Harris also sent 3 text messages to Megan's bodyguard, Justin Edison, in the 5 minutes following the shooting. Help, Harris texted Edison at 4:27 a.m. on July 12th, 2020, according to the visual text of the chain shown on a screen in the courtroom. Tory shot Meg, the next line read. 911, the third bubble read. In his dueling opening statement, defense lawyer Magdesian urged jurors to keep an open mind. He said no one beyond Megan reported hearing the dance bitch line, and he said a neighbor who purportedly witnessed some of the incident from a nearby balcony reported seeing a muzzle flash closest to the non-victim female. Prosecutors have said they won't be calling the neighbor because he gave conflicting statements, including saying at one point that he was woken up by the sound of gunshots. On Monday, Magdesian said that the alcohol-fueled fight started when Megan purportedly became jealous that Peterson was spending time with Jenner in the pool and didn't want to leave her house. He said Kris Jenner's boyfriend, Corey Gamble, was a witness to some of the party and would be called to testify. Magdesian told jurors Harris became enraged when Peterson revealed he had been intimate with Megan. In the statements to the court last week, Magdesian said the defense plans to present evidence Harris could have been the one to discharge the gun. The prosecutor sought to bar Magdesian for saying Harris was the shooter. In his opening statement, he told the jurors that after former LAPD lead investigator Detective Ryan Stogner learned Harris and Peterson both tested positive for gunshot residue, he failed to test the firearm for Harris's DNA or fingerprints. Detective Stogner didn't think it was important, the lawyer said. We'll never know what such testing would have shown because the detective on this case refused to do it, he said. Bott, meanwhile, so that's the main point that they have here is that, like, oh, actually it was Kelsey, Megan Thee Stallion's friend, and the person who was allegedly also in an intimate relationship with Tory Lanez was the person who pulled the gun out and shot Megan Thee Stallion, and that the dance bitch line was made up and that Tory Lanez didn't actually do it, even though he apologized to everyone involved, which, you know, it's a thing that you do sometimes. So that tweet before was a fucking lie too. The cops didn't test for it. What tweet? He said Peterson also tried to smooth things over with Megan in a text message that read, "I know you probably never going to talk to me again, but I genuinely want you to know I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart. I was just too drunk. Nonetheless, shit would have never happened, and I can't change what I did. I just feel horrible because I genuinely got too drunk." Now, a lot of the, I'm not even going to say Tory Lanez stands because I don't think he does have any like serious stands or anything. I think it's more so like misogyny stands have used this to say, oh, well, this was actually just about, you know, him revealing stuff and not like him shooting Megan Thee Stallion. I refuse to call them Tory Lanez stands. I don't think they can fucking name a single song from Tory Lanez, okay? Like, I think they're just stands of like women being shot sometimes. Boss said one day later, about at 3:30 p.m., Edison visited Peterson's residence to retrieve some of Megan's belongings. He said the bodyguard will testify that Peterson essentially confessed he was the shooter. Justin will tell you that the defendant admitted much of what he admitted in the call and the text, that he was a trigger man that night, that he did the shooting, but he said he was just shooting in the air and shooting at the ground. But importantly, he told Justin he was the person who fired the gun. I think that is probably the most likely story, is not necessarily that like he was drunk and like directly aiming at Megan Thee Stallion, okay, but instead like wanting to cause harm and threat and threaten her and like shoot at the ground and then, you know, accidentally fucking shot her foot. This does not absolve him of any sort of crime, obviously, and he should not have done that. I'm not defending him in any meaningful capacity, of course, but I think that that is most likely the most likely scenario. Okay, and also bullets do ricochet. Anyway, but he said he was just shooting in the air and shooting at the ground. But importantly, he told Justin he was the person who fired the gun. Speaking of Rolling Stone, for a cover story earlier this year, Megan said she was friends with Peterson at the time of the shooting, but they were not an official couple. That man was never my ex, never my man, she said. Still, she believed at the time of the shooting that she shared a real connection with Peterson because they had bonded over losing their mothers. I thought he knew me, and I never thought he would have shot me at all, she said. I never put my hands on this man. I never did anything to him. There was an argument. People argue every day. Friends argue every day. She questioned why Peterson has been dragging it out like this. Have you hated me this much the whole time and I didn't see it, she said in her interview with Conte. I wanted him to go to jail, she added. I wanted him to go under the jail. So yeah, there's that element. But unfortunately, we do not. I mean, the bodyguard is in Qatar. And there are developing instances. There are like developing situations. I think one of the other things is like one of the key witnesses in this circumstance is Kelsey Harris, whose testimony has changed. What happened between September and today that you forgot everything? Deputy District Attorney Kathy Ta asked the key witness, a former friend of Megan. Which is weird because it's like, then what is it? Like, it's like a weird circumstance because like if she's saying, oh, I don't remember what happened, then what is it? Then you shot Megan Thee Stallion then? You know what I mean? Like, how can you forget what happened in that situation? Because if you're lying, or if you're going to lie, then you're going to go to jail. You know what I mean?